All right, and we're live. So, my lovely co host Shay is running a little bit late today, but we're going to hop right into it because I do have a lot of writing that I need to do. So, today I am working on my urban fantasy project. I have two projects I've been working on this month. So, I have the urban fantasy and I have the Christmas romance. And I've been working a little bit on the Christmas romance, but yesterday I was really busy with family stuff, so I was like out and about all day. So I only got a few words in. And then I haven't touched the urban fantasy project in a couple of days now, so I want to hop back into that today. Hopefully a little break from it has me ready to write some words because sometimes you just need that little break. So I'm gonna just get right into the first sprint. We're going to do a 30-minute. So I'm going to pull up the timer and I will see you guys in 30. All right. How did everybody do? Let me know how you did in the comments. And the lovely Shay is here. So, Shay, what are you working on today?
Um, so waking up is what I'm working on now because y'all can't tell I was knocked out. It was definitely sleep. Took that little old nap, and that nap took me, is what happened. So, apologize for my tardiness. This is what it sounds like when I'm waking up. Have a very raspy, sleepy sounding voice. So, apologize that I don't sound like a lady right now. But I'm gonna probably read something till I'm fully awake. So I'll be reading this. Have I finished Monstrous? Will I finish Monstrous? So that's what I'm working on as right now.
I mean, it'd be like that. I feel like I started so many books and I'm just like, am I going to finish this one? I don't know.
Y'all know I really don't like the DNF nothing, but baby, whoo
So,
hoo to lay.
plus, I was going through a phase where like I could only really read physical books. And now I got physical books to read and I'm like, I feel like I can only read audio and ebook.
Man, I really want to get on Forging the Nightmare because you got it for me, and then Deidre was reading it, and she was like, "It's giving Frank Peretti but black," and I was like, "Ooh, okay, well let me go get it then, because y'all know I love me some Frank, and he ain't black, so give me Frank Peretti but black, and you know." And she was like, "Girl, somebody drinking Hennessy or something like that." I said, "Oh snap, let me pick it up." So now I'm kind of like, let me go ahead and go grab that. So that
Yeah,
might
I
be,
really like that one because I reread it earlier this year,
yeah.
and it's still one of my better reads for this year.
I was like, yeah, I might need something that's gonna get me out of this funk, cause woo, my stress is definitely not doing it for me. It's definitely not doing it for me.
Yeah, sometimes you'd be trying to read a book, and then you realize you got to put it aside for a little bit and hop into something
Hmm.
else, and then you speed through that other book right away.
Yeah, cause Ring Shot was good. Ring Shot started my October off great, and then Monstrous wasn't giving what it was supposed to give.
And did you have like a big TBR for October, or no? You just had those two.
No, I had a big one, and Monstrous kept me from the other ones, and so
That thing too, I find like I'll start reading a book and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna read these specific books for the month, and then if I hit one that I'm not really feeling, it takes up like my whole
it
month.
does. It does. It definitely did. Because I was good in September. I was boom, 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 reading it out. In October, I was like, oh, I'm good for October. And then Monstrous knocked everything else off my radar. So I only finished 2 books in October. So,
Yeah, I got a few that I'm working on for this month in between writing just to keep my mind going.
yeah.
Gotta have that little break. So I got like a couple of, I have like a cozy mystery series that I've been
Mm,
reading through called the Catering Hall Mysteries. It's like this little
okay.
Italian family
All
in
right.
Queens. And I've been listening to all the audiobooks on Hoopla. So there's 4 books right now. I got the 4th one to read.
I'm really ready to have my phone back so I can go back to my Libby and Hoopla, because on my iPad I have the Everend app, so I can listen to the stuff on
Mhm.
there. But I would like check stuff out on Libby and whatnot. So,
And
but
Forging a Nightmare is on Hoopla too. It's on the audiobook is on Hoopla.
okay, okay, cool.
So like if you're reading it and maybe it gets like a little slow in some part, but you kind of world or you want to go back and forth, you can just read
Go
with the
back.
audiobook because the audiobook's pretty good.
Okay,
Mm.
okay, cool.
I see we got some people who came through though.
Yay!
Hey Bree, Ray says she's out here cleaning. I mean, cleaning is important too.
Need to join you on that, Bree. Hey,
I just did laundry the other day and I got to do laundry again soon.
man, don't it feel like laundry is just never ending? I mean, it's probably
Yeah,
because we wear clothes every day, but still,
no,
but
but you be
still.
thinking because you're at home every day, you'll have less clothes, and then I still find I got like all these outfits at the like I did laundry at the beginning of the week, and then I at the end of the week I had all these clothes again. And I'm just like, where did these come from?
It's me still not putting up the summer clothes because this weather don't ain't made up its mind what it want
Oh,
to do.
I did
It,
that the first week of October. You know, I had that time I was home. I needed distraction. I just did it all, thankfully. Um, because that's the other difficult part where you live in a place where it gets cold in the winter and you gotta rotate your clothes back and forth.
See, and that's the thing is like it does that, except for here, it's like backwards. Like it gets cold. Like we didn't have 32-degree weather. It's still been 90 a couple of days. So it's like I don't want to keep digging stuff out. So I'm just waiting until it's officially winter and I know it's not gonna be no 90-degree days. So I gotta wait till after Thanksgiving to put everything away.
Oh, that's the worst because
Hmm.
I had to wait till like October before I could start moving things around. Where I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
it's going like I had after that first couple of weeks of October where it was real hot. I'm like, okay, and then we even had like a couple of hot days in between. But
Nah,
I'm
it
like,
was
okay, we're having
definitely
enough
like
consistent days to switch it over.
87 a couple of days ago.
That's the worst because you got to dig clothes back out.
Hmm. That's why I've not put anything up. It's just a bunch of clothes everywhere in my house right now because I got winter and summer clothes still out.
You know, Asia said she's here doing laundry too, making lunch. That too with the making lunch. I be trying sometimes just
I gotta
like
make lunch now so I can take
to
the rest
make
of my
food in
medicine.
advance. So I've been trying to make food like in advance. I got food for the next day, like set aside like I'm gonna I'm gonna eat this freezer meal or I have this food cooked in the fridge ready to go.
Man, adulting, who would have thunk it?
Because then you got to take this time during the day, and then sometimes I'll be lazy. And if I get lazy, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just ordering food, and I'm not trying not to order a lot of food.
Because you know what it is? Expensive.
Yeah, it's weird because it's expensive to order food, but it's also expensive to buy groceries, and you got to decide which ones you want to buy order out and which ones you want to buy the groceries for. Because they're like, oh yeah, well you can make this stuff at home and then you'll have a lot, but then if you're living by yourself, you don't have no one to eat all this food, so you're like, do I really want a lot of leftovers?
Girl, leftovers in my refrigerator now, so I'm not cooking. I'm not cooking because I got leftovers. I'm gonna eat them.
And then it depends on like what it is too, like
Cause
if
you
it's
gotta be
like
in the mood for the leftovers. Cause
yeah,
you was in the mood on the day that you had them, but it depending on how long they've been in there, leftovers don't last. It's a
yeah,
lot. It's a lot. So you gotta be strategic with what you eat because leftovers can only last you a certain amount of days.
yeah,
It's a lot.
like
It's a
do
lot
I
to
want
go
this
back to.
pasta multiple days in a row? Because this lady had given us like a casserole, made us like a big casserole dish of like stuffed shells, and after a couple of days, I had to go eat something else and come back.
Right. I believe it. I believe it.
It just said she's in the middle of like 6 books and haven't been really pulled to any of them. I
Isn't
hate that
that
for
the
you.
worst, Deja? That is the worst.
It really is. When you're in the middle of all these books and it's just not
And
hitting for
none of
you.
them do you want to read because none of them are exciting you. Oh, that's the worst.
Like one of the books I'm reading right now, it's just a little bit slow. So like when you get to that slow part in the middle, and it's like, do I still want to keep turning the pages?
Come on, Bobby Valentino. You don't have to turn the page. I read the stuff right. Come on, throw back the high school days.
Some of them are fine, but I'm not in the mood for just fine. Yeah, that's the thing too.
That is the thing.
When you were wanting a 5 star and it's given 3, and that demotivates me sometimes too. Like if it's a
I don't want
3,
something that's just okay. I want something that's like, oh, I can't wait to read this book. Yeah. Delicious
especially
Monsters was the last thing that I was devouring like that. Not gonna hold you.
especially because I read a lot of 3 stars recently. Like last month, one of my worst reading months. It was just like back to back to back, a lot of
Mm.
average reads. And I'm like, I need something exciting. So I just finished Never Eighth on Friday. That was really good. I had a real good time with that.
I like the title.
Yeah. No, it was good. I think you'll really enjoy that one because, like I said, it was blackety black. It had we're following a black boy in a fantasy, which we never do.
Mm.
It's a black cast. There was not a white person in sight to
You know,
bother him
you
and give him
got
a
me right
problem.
there.
He was it was set in Georgia. He
Hmm.
moved from ATL to a smaller town in Georgia. And then he kind of has like these like incredible Hulk like almost like powers.
Hmm.
And there's like some African like folklore and stuff thrown into it. It was really interesting. I really
Okay.
liked how the world was developing. He had a little romance that was really cute.
Okay.
But like, and also one thing I liked was he wasn't like too soft because I feel like a lot of times when I read like a YA, everybody wants to write black boys the same way. Like they got to be super soft and super quiet. And I'm like, that's fine, but that's not every black boy. It's good to have variety. And these white boys in fantasy get to act whatever type of way, and it's good.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm,
I agree.
so I'm like, give us a little bit more. Oh, and I'll be reading Blood at the Root next month.
I can't wait. Oh, you got an art?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I
Oh,
can't
I'm
wait
so
to tell you
jealous.
all about that one.
I'm so jealous. I pray that it lives up to what it is in my head. I pray that it lives up to what it is in my head. Because in my
I
head it's great.
Yeah.
In my head
In
it's
my
great.
head, it's great too.
In my head it's great. So I pray that it
So
lives up to that.
I'm
I'm
like
jealous.
real
I'm
excited.
jealous. You're not my friend right now. I'm jealous. I'm envious. I'm envious. I'm envious. I'm envious. I've been watching. Oh my gosh, he dropped this like visual of one of the characters on his Twitter, and it's given like it's similar to the look of the Shadow Man in Princess and the Frog. But I don't think he's a negative character. I think he's what is it, like a mentor character in the story. I don't know because obviously I haven't read the book or anything.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I just can't wait to read this book. These visuals, I'm excited. I'm so
Yes, in
excited.
the HBCU setting is what I've been here for
You know, I
all
love it.
year.
You know, I love it. You know, I love it because like nobody's writing HBCU, so I'm so excited. Not nobody, but like
Yeah.
nobody in traditional publishing that we've seen is like writing HBCUs, right? So I
Yeah.
love
I haven't found like one that's like strictly for HBCU.
it's like strictly HBCUs. I haven't
They
seen
always have to like they always end up aging it down to high school.
right like a predominantly like high school. Yeah, I haven't seen an HBCU story, so
Or
I'm
it's like
excited.
some kind of like alternate type of
Mm-hmm.
like dark academia type of school. So I'm like, yes to getting like an HBCU.
I'm excited. I am so excited. So
Yeah.
yes, yes. Okay, so now I'm probably gonna bug the mess out of you.
Yeah, because I'll be reading that and I'll be reading The Poisons We Drink and
Since we drink,
The Poisons We Drink.
the
It's
poisons we
one
drink.
up it's coming out next March and it's like this black witch and she and her family brew love potions and she's going to be fighting politicians in DC, so that should be really interesting too.
Oh, I like that too. Okay. Okay, 2024.
Yeah, so I'm
Okay,
hopeful like 2024 is going to come hard with the good books.
okay. I'm loving that. All right.
Hey,
Okay.
Mr. Rosuri, thank you for
Hi.
stopping in as always. What are you reading? See, sorry, what book were we talking about that's HBCU? It's called Blood at the Root. It is by Ladarian Williams and in it comes out next year. I'm not sure. I got to double check the month. But it's supposed to be a big book for next year. YA, HBCU fantasy.
Super excited about it.
He had like originally he'd been working on it as a film. He has a short film on YouTube that he made based off of it. I'm hoping like it does well. A lot like he also does. He's also like a playwright and stuff. So it's been getting a lot of buzz. I saw a lot of people running to pre order it. I'm hoping it's something big, and I'm hoping it's good because we need like a big black fantasy with a mostly black cast.
Black boy on the cover. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's set in the real world, America.
in the South.
Yeah, so all of that good stuff. Yeah, that one I'm excited about too. And I'm like
Right.
liking seeing more in these like urban settings too. Like not just black kids trying to survive in a rich white suburb.
Right.
And I like seeing like other black characters besides just rich ones. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to have like rich black people, but at the same time they start to all read alike.
Right.
So it's nice to switch it up a little bit. Um, he's just looking forward to the Sui novella coming out next year. Yeah, I heard about that. I haven't really looked into it, so I gotta look into that. Um, he has a book coming out, Warrior of the Wind, later this month. I definitely want to check that one out. That might be on my December TBR too.
Okay.
We'll see. So, do you want to hop into another sprint?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I think I'm going to do a I think I'm going to do a 35 this time around. All right. Y'all write them words or turn those pages, whatever you're doing today. All right. So, how did everybody do? Let me know how you did in the comments. I realized that I forgot to tell you all how I did on the last one. So, there's that. I mean, I did get a little bit of writing done this round, but I also was finishing touching up my hair because I'm going to a Diwali festival like later this evening. And it'll be my first time at a Diwali festival. So that's exciting. Let me see how many words that I got in since I didn't keep track the first time. Okay, so I got 94 words in that round. That's not too bad considering I stopped and started working on my hair for a little bit. And I noticed some people came in. Hey, Felicia, how's it going? Are you working on anything today? Or are you just passing through? Hey, Pat. Oh, thank you as always for stopping by. You just be on every sprint, and I appreciate it. Deja got 287 words that time. Woo woo. Yeah, like, so I knew of the festival because my family is from Trinidad. They have a very sizable Indian population there. So they're like, my mom grew up celebrating it. But since nobody around me is really Hindi, I've never been to like see it in person. And we've never gone back to Trinidad or Guyana for that matter during Diwali time. So I was really excited. Like a doctor my mom works with is just like, yeah, come bring your family through and celebrate with us. So for those who stopped in during that last sprint, I am working on my YA urban fantasy project that I've been working on for a while. And I feel like I've made the most progress on it in like the past few months. Like for a while, it felt like it was not moving. And some days it still feels like it's not really moving. But then I check the word count and I check from where it was at the beginning of the month. And I'm like, oh no, I'm making a little progress here and there. It's just very interesting, like trying to balance making them feel like real teens, but they're teens that are in college. So I'm actively trying to make sure it comes across that they're going to class. And while they're going to class, I want it to sound like, like they're actually in school. So I'm like trying to figure out how do I make this realistic? How do I showcase them going to class, but it's not too overly into the details about class? There's a large group of students because it is a school, and I'm like trying to figure out how to balance this cast of characters, make everybody sound distinct. So it's been a little bit of a key time getting that. Like I feel like since I wrote it down the other week, I wrote a list of my characters, their background, made sure to add some last name because once I started writing them down, I realized, oh, not a lot of people in the story got a last name. Added some last names in, wrote down what their powers are and what I want their abilities to be. And that's really helped me move along recently. Doing more than other YA books these days, less serious. I know. I realized that because I've been reading while while writing this book, and I'm like seeing and like kind of like not really like comparing it because most of these stories that I'm reading are very differently, but seeing like just the approach people take in their stories. Yeah, but I'm like somebody, I know you're not supposed to do it, but I really be sitting there editing while I write. I guess I can't help it. Like for it to come together for me, because I'm like, I don't have it all like outlined. I'm like I'm pantsing it, so like I be sitting there editing it, and then sometimes I'll be like, oh, I have to move this section because it doesn't fit this part of the chapter, but it may fit later in the chapter, or it may fit another part of the book. And I'm like, oh, but I said this. This has to match what I said here. Like, I named the character this. I got to make sure that I'm still talking about the same person, stuff like that. So, like, for me to move forward, I have to, like, think about who are these characters and kind of have a clear vision. So, because I know what the ending is going to be of this story. Like, I have the very last scene written. It's just like, for me to get there, I'm trying to figure out all these details. Hey Shay, I see you're back. So how was your reading that round?
It was good. It's a lot of like getting into the story. So the story is like set 20 years after a murder, and like this true crime television show is trying to like solve the murder 20 years later. So it's getting into like the cast of who's trying to solve the murder and everything. And so like their like resumes or CVs and whatnot. So that's where I'm at the story now. So it's getting into like main players of who I'm trying to solve the murder before. So that's
And
where
this
I'm
is the
at.
book you're reading, right?
Yeah, the book that I'm reading. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But also, Titan has gotten. He has like this wound that he's given himself that he's made worse. So that took up quite a bit of time. So I have to like get back to that. So yeah,
Well,
Titan
we
is
will be
being
doing
Titan.
another sprint shortly. That'll probably be our final sprint because
Okay,
said I do gotta head out there.
all right, sounds good. I was like, she looks different. She didn't look like that at the
Yeah,
last. She changed something. Something is different. Eh.
yeah. I took down the hair, wetted a little bit, changed outfits, starting to get ready. It said I've heard of people doing like the headlight thing. They'll write a few chapters and go back and revise it and then continue it. I thought that I would do that, but it's taking me too long. I don't know if that's like what I do. I mean, I do go back a little bit. Like if I feel like I wrote something here and I know it doesn't match what I wrote earlier, I might go back, but I'm trying not to like go back through every chapter and revise just like certain sections. But like I realized too, like I was starting to write out the powers, and then I was kind of getting the powers mixed up between the characters because for my magic system, it's an elemental based magic system, so it's based on the 5 elements. I want there to be representation for every element. So I'm like, oh, I gave 2 people the same element, but we don't have somebody in the main cast who is representative of this element. So then I had to go back and switch some things around and just make sure I added some little details to show this is the element that they're representing. So I'm gonna get the next sprint locked and loaded. So is a 25 good for you?
Yes, ma'am. It is.
All right. All right. So let's get this sprint started, and I will see you guys in a little bit. All right. How did everybody do?
I barely made it back in time for having to clean up Titan and the mess we made in the bathroom after cleaning up Titan. But we moved, we moved, we moved. He's all cleaned up.
I mean, your dog child is always putting you through it.
Yeah. He's wearing one of my old T-shirts now, and he's not too happy about it. But whatever we gotta do to take care of the pup, whatever we gotta do for him is what matters.
I wrote 245 words that round, so
Nice.
pretty good. I'm happy about that.
I'm happy for you. Yay.
And I'm starting to figure out where this chapter is going, so that's good. Like I had introduced some new chapters, like some new characters in the previous chapter, so then I was just trying to figure out where I'm gonna go.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm getting
Nice.
like closer to the middle, so
Okay. I like that. I as you know earlier in the Discord, I finished the first draft of chapter one, so I sent it out to critique partners and alpha readers, and so a few people were like, I like it. It's very visual. I can see everything at every clear. At what you doing, Titan? What you doing? Come here. Very visual, and like I can see it all. The chemistry is really good to this. So I was like reading over their feedback as I came back. So I'm like, okay, good. Y'all can see it. Great. That's making me feel better about going into the next chapter. So
yeah,
that was good.
it's good to get that first chapter feedback when you're writing, just to like show people where you're going.
Right.
Like, okay, you get that feedback, and if they like it, okay, good. I know how to move forward now.
Right.
And sometimes they give you little tips, like on ways you can switch it up a little bit to make it even better.
Exactly. That's exactly how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I think I will get, once I get to like the midpoint of this story, then I will send it back to my CP to have her just look over it again, just because I've changed a lot. Like
Hmm.
since I initially had given her the first 5 chapters,
Got you.
I just want to like get the feedback on how it's flowing.
I haven't shared anything with critique partners in months. So that's why I was like, hey, I just need y'all to like, hey, I've been working on something. Here's something for y'all to look at. Because I've been looking at y'all stuff for like a while. Y'all ain't seen nothing of mine in a long time. So here you go. Here you go.
And it is that she's the opposite. She doesn't like getting feedback until she's happy with the draft of whatever I'm sharing.
Oh yeah, no. But so usually I don't like a first draft I'm happy with. I don't call it a first draft or let it go until I'm like happy with it. And a first draft means I'm like done with it. So nah. I wouldn't have said I was done with it and gave it to them. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is the best I can do by myself reading it. I read through it. I don't think there's nothing I can add or take away at this point. There's the only thing that I know, I was like, I feel like this might be info dumpy, but I don't know if it is. I feel like it could be, but I feel like it might not be. So I need someone else to read it to tell me. And so if no one else is like, this is
Mm-hmm.
info dumpy, then I know that it's just me being over analytical in my head. So
Yeah, well, that happens too. Like for me, I had sent, when I started writing, I sent the first 5 chapters off to people for feedback, just because I was writing something different, and I was also writing in third person
hmm
versus first person, and there not a lot of people write in third person right now. At least not that I was seeing, especially not in YA. So I wanted like some feedback on how is it sounding, because it was like an even adjustment for me to write in third person, because you still gotta, it's like just a different way of showing the character emotions, because you're not directly in their head all the time.
right, right. I totally understand that.
And then I just wanted like to them to just tell me their first impressions, like when they're reading those initial chapters. But it's just interesting because it made me know where to tweak some things, um, what to make a little clearer. Like when I had sent it, like at first they were confused about the setting. They thought it was an HBCU. I'm like, no, this is not an HBCU. It's a PWI. But most of the characters are black. There are a few white ones in there, but a lot of the characters are black. So they're not thinking about white people all the time. They're just
Right.
in their circle.
Right.
And I'm like, there's been like there were like little characters too on the side that we were encountering. Like I had mentioned, like blonde hair and blue eyes and stuff, but they just automatically like read that as black because the other people like around the story were black.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
So I kind of had to make some things a little bit extra clear because it was also factoring into the type of story like I'm trying to tell. Like, no, they're navigating a PWI experience.
Yeah, I had to make sure that like because with Jesus never went to college, it is a PWI, but it is a majorette dance team at a PWI that was started by black girls who wanted that experience at their PWI. And there is a white girl on the dance team, but she had to like prove herself to get on the dance team, and that is a part of the story too. Like she earned her spot on the team and she had to earn her spot. She wasn't given the spot. Like there's controversy in that as well. Just you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's conversation around that. Just like in my story with the HBCU at the law school, there is a white girl who chooses to go to that law school. And they're like, why are you there? Why did you
Yeah.
choose to go here of all places? And they find out that her brother, who's half black, adopted her grandmother, his grandmother raised all of them. So even though she's not black, she was raised by a black woman, and it's part of the reason why she's going there. Like there's stories in all of this, and reasons why people make these decisions, right? But they're all part. They all affect the story. So everybody has a reason for going there. But also, it brings up the conversation of affirmative action, and that you can get a minority scholarship, but white people don't choose to go to HBCUs. They could. You could get a scholarship for being white to go to a school, but you don't choose to go to a place where you're not the minority or you're not the majority. And there's a reason you choose to do that.
Yeah, and then a lot of times when you see white people at the HBCU, they are on scholarship.
They are on scholarship because you can be on scholarship to go there.
Them
Exactly.
sports scholarships, especially.
Exactly. Right. So yeah. So I do things purposefully to have conversations specifically for those reasons. Because y'all always want to have those conversations when it's us. Y'all don't ever want to have those conversations when it's y'all. So I'm gonna force those conversations. So
I agree with that. Just like at my and so in my story, their university president is a black woman, and that is a very big deal. And I wanted to do that for a specific reason because, and not just like have her be a regular professor, because since 2020, a lot of schools, especially like in Pennsylvania at least, are had their first black president of their school ever, including the school that I graduated from. So I wanted to make a statement about that. And like the pressure that is put on those people to
right.
be a representative for the race and to look like the good minority
Hmm.
and to make the school system look better.
Right.
And we had those that we saw recently, like with Temple, that black woman who was the president, and she died on stage, and they just like continued on with the
Right.
ceremony. So like it's important to bring awareness to those things to people.
I agree. I agree.
But like I didn't want it to take over the full, like be like the whole story. I wanted it to be just a portion of the bigger story, and to have the messaging but not have it feel too heavy-handed.
I definitely understand.
Lisa said she writes in third person. I almost can't stand first person, but it depends on the writing.
I like writing in third person. Most of the stuff I started writing was in third person, and then I moved into first person for stuff. So no, I definitely switched between the two.
I was writing in I like was writing in first person, I guess, because I was reading so much stuff in first person. And then like some people suggested like, oh, maybe you should try taking a third person approach to see how the story reads. And I think sometimes too, for me, with like YA, while first person is good because you're like, you know the character's thoughts, sometimes you be too much in the character's head.
Yeah.
And so it loses like a bit of like that subtleness when you're constantly over and over again getting the same thoughts. And you're start it and it kind of prevents you from seeing like the world at a larger scale because you're only getting their point of view and how they view everything.
No, I
So
totally agree. I totally agree.
yeah, so that's why I'm liking playing around with third person a little bit. Like it's a close third person, so we still kind of understand how our main character is feeling, but we're also seeing parts of this world that probably wouldn't be seen if we were just in her head alone.
Yeah, I love taking a scene and viewing it for someone else's point of view to help make the scene fuller. So
All right, well, I have to go to my little Diwali celebration
no
soon,
problem.
so I gotta finish getting ready. I know here you was dealing with the dog,
Yeah, no worries.
and then you're still working on your 10K for the weekend.
Yeah. I definitely want to get some more words in, especially since I finished that chapter. I'm like, hey, I got a good roll on this weekend, so I'm definitely gonna try to get some more words in before Monday gets here. And I still got that blog post to finish for tomorrow. So
Well, maybe we can link up tonight, our usual sprints.
yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna sprint tonight. I probably actually will get in there a little bit early. So if anybody is like in here for the Discord, I might slide in there like 6 or 7 tonight. So
All right. Well, thanks so much for everybody who stopped by. And you'll probably be seeing me again this month pop up on some sprints. Maybe Shay and I will pop up together on a couple more.
all right, sounds good to me.
All right. Bye.
Bye.